Function with Purpose podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education through the physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Welcome to Season 11, Episode 5 of the Function with Purpose podcast. Thanks for joining in. I am Dr. Amy, host of this lovely podcast. Maybe you're driving in the car somewhere. Be sure to subscribe. I appreciate the follow and know that I put out about one podcast per month, and this is also re-uploaded to the Fortress Physical Therapy YouTube channel. So there's a lot of content there as well, some free content and some future things that I will be working on. Awesome. Okay. All right. So if you happened to listen to the previous episode, we're going to do this on the flip side of that episode. So today's title, I'm getting surgery. When should I start physical therapy? So, per usual, I like to share personal patient stories on this podcast, and I think a lot of us can relate to this or have experienced something similar, and can be very relatable. So, I have a patient, he's in his late 50s, and unfortunately, when he was performing a heavy deadlift in one of the CrossFit classes, the bar kind of slipped from his hand, and he tried to a little bit like readjust it, and boom, there went his biceps, and he felt a pop, and so he quit lifting the rest of that day, and it was confirmed. He saw a ortho surgeon later that week, and he tore his distal biceps tendon. Oh my gosh, Amy, I'm never doing CrossFit. No. This is not the point of the story here, people. This was just something that unfortunately happened to this patient. It wasn't because this patient participated in a CrossFit class and was doing heavy deadlifts. So let's clear that thought up right now. However, this is an orthopaedic musculoskeletal surgery that most likely had to happen for this particular patient. As opposed to if you listen to my previous episode on surgery for chronic pain or for chronic back pain, completely different. So this is the other viewpoint, an actual true orthopedic musculoskeletal thing that happened and promoted this patient to seek surgery the week after. So, gosh, I wasn't here when that happened. I was on vacation or something, I think, and I heard about it. So I reached out to this patient, and I was like, oh, hey, I heard your elbow kind of messed up over the week. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get biceps tendon surgery. So I said, hey, can I talk to you on the phone? And we talked, and I kind of gave him a little bit of detail on what to expect when he seeks out or when he goes to the surgeon's office, kind of a little bit of overview, verbal anatomy of the elbow, some perhaps post-operative care. You're probably going to be in a sling. It's okay to take pain medicine. That's part of the process, etc., etc. And also, very important, even though you're waiting at this moment in time period next week to get surgery, it's still super important for you to show up at CrossFit class, because you have another arm, you have two legs, and you have a heart to maintain your fitness? And he was like, yes, cool, done. When this patient was in that 1 week waiting period to undergo that biceps repair, he and I actually worked out together the day prior. I was on the same side of the gym as him, and I said, hey, do you want to just hop in with my training? I'll kind of show you some modifications. By the way, this is probably some stuff that I'll program for you. You are now, quote, an adaptive athlete. You are an adaptive CrossFit athlete. And he was like, I never really thought about that. Yeah, you're right. I'm totally going to be an adaptive CrossFit athlete. So that right then and there, inputting that verbiage into his mindset, instead of, this was just kind of like a freak accident that happened. And of course you're going to feel depressed and down and upset. But luckily I was there and I'm a part of the gym and helping guide this patient with a better mindset, right? So, anywho, he went in for his bicep surgery, so they reattached his biceps tendon. So the biceps muscle's on the front of your shoulder, and it goes down and it crosses your elbow, and it helps bend your elbow. So it helps bringing things from like the countertop, feeding yourself, right? That elbow bend or flexion pattern. So that biceps muscle is the primary muscle that does that. And it also does what we call supination, i.e. lifting the palm up as if holding a cup of soup in your hand, to pronation, i.e. your palm is facing the ground, i.e. pouring the soup on the floor, or the water. If you were holding water in your hand and you were cupping your hand upwards and trying to hold that water in your hand, and then you pour it out in the sink. So we have supination, holding the water, and then pronation, pouring that water, letting it go down the sink. So the biceps does that supination motion as well. So this patient had the surgery a week later, and, he's in the sling, and I kind of just in passing saw him. We didn't start physical therapy or anything. I'm talking to him. I'm like, okay, still show up, like come to class. If there's movements in class, you're an adaptive athlete. You're going to do a lot of things with your opposing arm with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And you can bike, you can row. You're just going to use one arm for the rower, one arm for the bike, or just your legs for the bike. And he's like, oh yeah, good point, So I'm just feeding him all of this information on like, okay, we have to be this adaptive athlete mindset type individual. And he's like, okay, great. So he had his surgery, and then a week later, or 10 days later, he had his post-operative follow-up. So they ask him super generic questions like, how's your pain level? How you sleep? And of course you're sleeping like poop, right? Because you're in this sling. How's this? How's that? Okay, cool. All right, let me inspect. Okay, the incision looks good. It has steri strips on it. All right, we're going to put you in this external brace that helps open up that elbow angle or straighten the elbow. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's like all the instruction he got. That's it. Like every week, I guess, crank this apparatus degree thing that is at the elbow, crank it 10 more degrees every week, every 7 days, so that it helps straighten out your arm. Okay, got it. That's it. I'll see you in January. I'll see you in 6 weeks. We'll see how you're doing. Well, should I start physical therapy? I have a PT at the gym I'm going to work with, but should I go to another PT on top of it? Like, what should I do? Okay. This wasn't even the surgeon my patient was talking to. It was his physician's assistant. Because that's usually what happens at follow-up appointments. You see the physician assistant. Most likely the assistant that assisted with the surgery, not the surgeon himself. Okay. Well, quote, something along this line, quote, well, you're only a week out. I don't see what physical therapy can do for you, end quote. And my patient kind of sat there thinking, really? Like, because I'm still in fitness class and I'm going to get extra programming this early in the process. And I'm going to strengthen my shoulder and my shoulder blade. And by the way, I have pain in my mid-back because I had a cervical block in my neck. Everything hurts right now. So, yeah, that's what the physician assistant told my patient. Well, I don't see how physical therapy can help this early in the process. Really? Are you kidding me? I helped him prep even prior to your visit, prior to your surgery, because this patient had nothing, had no expectation, had no idea what he's about to go through. Yet alone trying to call the office and ask the questions of basically what I told him what would probably happen. This blows my mind. I'm getting surgery, so when should I start PT? You ask your surgeon or PA. Well, I don't know. You're pretty early in the process. You're only 7 days post-operation. I don't see any benefit of physical therapy right now. Are you shitting me? And my patient told me that, and I was like, I just smiled at him, and he smiled back and started laughing. He was like, yeah. I mean, they didn't even mention, like, okay, like, utilize your insurance and, go to PT 2-3 times a week for the remainder of the year. Like, you already met your deductible with this surgery. Like, all right. So nothing. There was no guidance on that. Nothing whatsoever. So this just puts the icing or the cherry on top from my perspective that from a personal viewpoint, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Right? Helping patients like this particular case, that when I'm working for myself, and I have been, that you're in the driver's seat. You have to give the patient as much information as possible because surgeons do surgery. They don't do other things. Now, there are surgeons or other medical practitioners or physicians, MDs, DOs, medical doctor of osteopathy, who will try to, quote unquote, prescribe physical therapy type movements. Number one, physical therapy is a profession. It's not a verb. Therapeutic exercise is what we incorporate within physical therapy. Therapeutic exercise is a verb. So they're trying to promote or say that this is how you physical therapy someone when they didn't even go to PT school. I didn't go to surgery school. I didn't become an orthopedic surgeon. Patient comes into my office. Oh, by the way, hey, I have a scalpel. You ready for me to do surgery on your hip? Wait, you're a physical therapist. You didn't even go to school for this. Oh, but I can tell you what to do. No. Sorry, people. It doesn't work like that. End rant. When someone undergoes an orthopedic surgery, in this case, this distal biceps reattachment, physical therapy should be the first point of contact. In fact, it was in this scenario because this patient is a member at the gym. I'm located within our gym. We have been doing physical therapy prior to this kind of freak injury that he experienced, so he was familiar with the process. And then now he has to walk this adaptive athlete mindset of recovery. And I'm there. I'm there helping him. I'm right there every day in passing. We schedule PT. We had his PT session earlier this week. We worked on the swelling in his arm. We did a little bit of movement. We did some electrode dry needling to the deltoid muscle away from the surgical site because I want to promote some blood flow to trickle down towards that area. We need to think outside the box. We need to keep this patient active and engaged. And it's so important that if you're a physiotherapist in this type of setup, man, do we have the power to influence patients immediately, right off the bat. But that's only if potential patients or current patients get your why, understand your why. They are about it. They understand the importance of it. They seek help from you. They seek advice. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to seek out the answer from someone else that I might know. It might be a nurse practitioner. It might be an MD, DO. It might be another physio. It might be a chiro. It might be a massage therapist. It might be another physio colleague that's located in California and not even in the Charlotte area, right? So in this particular case, when someone undergoes a musculoskeletal orthopedic surgery, a biceps tendon tear, a total knee replacement, a hip replacement, an ankle fusion, a rotator cuff repair, a shoulder arthroscopic surgery to clean up some junk in the shoulder or the arthritis in the shoulder, cortisone shot, etc. There is no doubt that PT can help. There is no doubt that PT should be the first line of defense, right? Because in this particular case, surgery was the appropriate route to go down because this patient, he's young, he's active, he just retired, he still wants to come to CrossFit class, he wants to get strong, he wants to, quote unquote, age well with purpose, on purpose, right? He wants to be healthy. He wants to travel. He still wants to be able to drive his car. He still wants to be able to lift heavy things with that biceps arm that got repaired. That's going to be down the road. But this was totally appropriate for him to get surgery. But unknowingly, from that surgical team standpoint, and in this case, he had to interact and do his follow-up visit with the physician's assistant. No idea how important physical therapy is for the recovery process, no matter what portion of the timeline the patient is at. It could be, in fact, in this patient's case, it was before surgery. He and I worked out together. We talked about some things. I was right there, right next to him. We were doing dumbbell snatch. We were doing burpees. He was doing burpees with one arm. And you know how I do that? I put a box in front of him. He does a burpee from the box. Left arm goes on the box, and then he stands up and jumps, while his right arm, or the affected arm, the biceps tendon that was torn, is in the sling. He's working out in the sling. Guess what? Got his heart rate up pretty quick, and he felt great after. PT should always be a part of the process. Especially especially when someone undergoes an orthopedic musculoskeletal surgery. It's not too early to start PT. In fact, you can start before surgery. You can prehab before surgery, right? So I'm looking forward to continuing down this path with this patient and his recovery process, and programming for him, and programming his therapeutic exercise, his home exercise program, in order to get him better faster. Because he has a follow-up visit in January, and clearly by the time this particular episode comes out, he is out of his brace, he's moving his arm, probably doing some contractions and lifting, and we are ready to rock and roll. So, if you're in doubt, or you have no idea what to do, or have zero guidance, well, you could reach out to me, or find a particular physiotherapist in your area where you live, someone that you can connect with, someone that you feel strongly believes in what you believe in, and go see them for that first visit. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid. Because who's the best person that knows how you're feeling? You. Duh, of course. You are the person that knows how you feel. So, in my eyes, there is no dumb question. The only dumb questions are the ones that you're not asking. So, make physical therapy a part of your routine no matter what. It is just so important, because physiotherapy can bring in all different aspects of the lifestyle. And in this particular case, it can start before surgery, immediately after surgery, and then throughout the recovery process. That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose Podcast. For more information on this episode, please check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.